We are always excited to bring you another amazing episode of The Broadway Show. I'm Tamsin Fidel. Thanks for joining us. It's the first ever Broadway revival of Funny Girl since it debuted nearly 60 years ago. The star-studded cast, including Beanie Feldstein, Jane Lynch, and more, just celebrated opening night. Let's send it out to Paul Wontorek.
That's right, Tamsin. The story of Fanny Brice is back on Broadway. I'm going to put on my mask and head into opening night of Funny Girl to meet the show's 4 fantastic stars, led by Beanie Feldstein. You just stood in front of an audience on a Broadway opening night in a beautiful theater and opened Funny Girl, playing Fanny Brice. I mean, where are the emotions?
Everywhere. Verklempt, it doesn't even begin to describe it. I think I'm in a state of shock, if I'm honest. Like, I can't quite process what just happened.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, this is something you've literally dreamt of.
My whole life.
Dream role.
It was my first want. It kind of created my want. It created my understanding of performing and making people laugh and singing, and Funny Girl did that for me at 2.5, 3. So to be here is just insane, Paul. It's insane.
Let's talk about your ego.
Go on.
Because you are in a show where you are referred to as gorgeous multiple times. The first time we see you, hello gorgeous, I mean, it's like a very famous line. Mm-hmm. Where's the ego? What's going on in your head? And you must be enjoying this.
I'll tell you what, it never gets boring. At my age, I'm gonna take what I can. No, it feels great. And what's amazing though is it starts off as that superficial and it's fun and you get that light relief, but it gets real very quick. You can have all the facade, you can have all the sort of contacts and you play the game, but authenticity and that realness, you can't fake it. And that's what's beautiful about the story, and that's what he finds in Fanny Brice. And I got the greatest star of our time right now, Beanie Feldstein, who is this generation's Fanny Brice.
You've had a very versatile career, you've done many things, but what does reaching a Broadway opening night mean to you?
Oh, it's just amazing. I mean, it's really one of those things where you're pinching yourself going, is this actually happening, and is it actually happening with Funny Girl? A musical, I was basically weaned on this music. It might even be my first musical memories, might be this, the soundtrack of this musical.
You're so fantastic in the show.
Thank you.
What I love about this performance is you have created your own Fanny, absolutely, because obviously it was just very heavily associated with one Barbra Streisand. Happy birthday, Barbra Streisand.
Of course, happy birthday.
On your opening night, it's her 80th birthday. And you have totally made something completely your own that is its own machine, and it's beautiful. It's just a beautiful performance that is completely separate from that. And I want to know how you did that.
Well, as I said, I loved the movie my entire life, and of course that means I've loved, worshipped, adored Barbra Streisand my entire life, revered. I mean, just truly my idol, my icon, everything. But when I got the audition, I knew it was my responsibility to open the script as if I didn't know what Funny Girl was, as if I didn't know who Fanny Brice was, as if I had never heard people or songs that are in my bones at this point, and just try to see it as a completely new piece and what I could bring to it. And as Fanny would say, you only have yourself to give, right? And so I knew that I couldn't be anything but the way I channeled Fanny. I just knew that we were creating something new. Even it's known and new. That's what I always say about this production. It's so known. It's people. It's Don't Rain on My Parade. But it's also, Harvey's book is really different. We have songs that people haven't seen before, and we are just bringing this known and yet fresh experience of Funny Girl 58 years later. And I just feel so lucky to be in this theater with these people every night.
There's great dancing in the show. It's a big dance show, and audiences are really eating up just, I think, seeing a big Broadway musical. I mean, you must feel that excitement from people.
In my solo, I get to check on everybody. I get to feel the crowd out, get to see how they're feeling and see how they're doing, pretty early on in the show. So I really get to have a good time with them, and I get to connect with them in a way that really, in my mind, sets the tone for Eddie throughout the entire show. Eddie's friendship friendship with Fanny throughout the show.
I think after the last 2 years, we all are trying to live in the moment more and appreciate things. So I'm assuming having a job like this is something that you are really appreciating every day, really showing off all of your talent.
Yeah. I mean, the 2 years went by. I went home to North Carolina, and I set up the boards in the garage like I did when I was in high school, and I was just training. And my mindset was like, you know, all right, cool, well, on the other side of this, whenever the other side comes, I'm gonna be prepared for whatever's, you know, there. You know, I really like to think that, you know, those 2 years where we were all trying to figure things out, where the world was changing, where people's minds were opening, you know, politically and socially, you know, all that kind of fed into, you know, the way I step into the shoes with Eddie Ryan.
It's exciting to be on Broadway at all right now and to help bring Broadway back. But this is sort of a really special thing for audiences.
Yeah, it really is. It's the Great American Musical. It's an art form that we invented here in America, and it was, you know, in the beginning of it with the Rodgers and Hammerstein and Julie Stein and Bob Merrill and Lerner and Loeb. I mean, these were just they pioneered a whole new art form, and it happened here on Broadway in like the late 50s, early 60s, and we're doing one of the finest constructed and one of the most musically beautiful American musicals there is.
You and Beanie have great chemistry, and I feel like you've really worked on that. What was it like developing that in the rehearsal room?
Nate, it was just something that happened organically over time, you know, like I came in a day late because I was doing Camelot in London when they started, so I was a new kid literally on day 2. I was like, oh, and I can't stand first days of school, as they call it. I get so nervous, so anxious, but to do that on my own instead of, hi, I'm Ramin, I play Nick, I was so nervous about that, but Beanie was so kind and so giving right away, this energy. She's a radiator, not a drain, you know, she gives and gives and gives. It was so easy to develop what is genuine on stage. Like, when you see me laughing, when you see me smiling, I'm not playing that. I am falling in love with Fanny Brice / Beanie Feldstein in real time with the audience.
So many theater goers have not seen Funny Girl. They've seen the movie maybe, but they haven't seen it on Broadway. And I feel like the reaction that they're really having is, where you been, Fanny? I mean, this is like such a great show.
Girl, where have you been? I agree with you. I think people, they might think again, you think you know Funny Girl, but the musical is its own entity with a really special, unique energy, and this group of people is the warmest, most loving. I can't explain to you, like the love just pours out of every person in this building, and that's all you can ask for.